Imagine this, your body is a finely tuned orchestra and your menstrual cycle is the conductor. Every month it plays a symphony of hormones preparing you for the possibility of new life. But what if you could understand every note? What if you could predict your most fertile days with confidence? Whether you're just starting your journey to conception or have been trying for a while, this video is your ultimate guide to understanding your menstrual cycle. So, with that being said, let's get into it.
Let's start with menstruation, the phase most of us are familiar with, your period. But what's really happening during this time?
Every month, your body prepares for the possibility of pregnancy by building up a thick, nutrient-rich lining inside your uterus called the endometrium. This lining is like a cozy nest, ready to support a fertilized egg if conception occurs. But if pregnancy doesn't happen, your body doesn't need that lining anymore. So it sheds it through your vagina in the form of menstrual blood. This process typically lasts between 3 to 7 days, though it can vary from person to person.
Here's what's happening behind the scenes.
Hormone levels drop at the end of the previous cycle. Levels of estrogen and progesterone, the hormones that maintained the uterine lining, drop sharply. The lining breaks down. Without these hormones, the blood vessels that supply the endometrium constrict, cutting off its blood supply. The tissue then breaks down and detaches from the uterine wall. Menstrual flow begins. The shedding tissue and blood exit your body through the cervix and vagina. This is what you see as your period. While this might sound intense, it's a completely natural and healthy process. In fact, it's your body's way of hitting the reset button, clearing out the old lining to make room for a fresh one in the next cycle. Fun fact, the average person loses about 30 to 40 milliliters, 2 to 3 tablespoons of blood during their period, though this can vary. If your flow is significantly heavier or lighter, it's worth discussing with your doctor. So while menstruation might feel like the end of your cycle, it's actually the beginning. The first step in a new cycle of preparation for potential pregnancy. And understanding this phase is key to tracking your fertility and overall health. Next up is the follicular phase, which overlaps with menstruation and continues until ovulation. This phase is all about preparation. Your body is getting ready to release an egg. Here's what's happening. Follicles develop. Inside your ovaries, tiny sacs called follicles begin to grow. Each follicle contains an immature egg. One follicle takes the lead. Usually, one follicle becomes dominant and continues to grow, while the others shrink away. This is called the dominant follicle. Estrogen rises. As the dominant follicle grows, it produces more and more estrogen. This hormone has two key jobs. It thickens the uterine lining again, creating a fresh, nutrient-rich environment for a potential pregnancy. It triggers a surge in luteinizing hormone, LH, which is the signal for ovulation to occur. The follicular phase can last anywhere from 7 to 21 days, depending on your cycle length. This is why tracking your cycle is so important. It helps you predict when ovulation is coming. Fun fact, did you know you're born with all the eggs you'll ever have? About 1 to 2 million at birth? By puberty, that number drops to around 300,000, and only about 400 to 500 will ever mature and be released during your reproductive years. Now we've reached the main event, ovulation. This is when your ovary releases a mature egg, and it's the most fertile time in your cycle. Here's how it works. The LH surge, remember that surge in luteinizing hormone LH we talked about? It peaks about 24 to 36 hours before ovulation, triggering the release of the egg from the dominant follicle. The egg is released, the egg blasts out of the follicle and is swept into the fallopian tube, where it can be fertilized by sperm. The fertile window, sperm can live inside your body for up to 5 days, and the egg survives for about 12 to 24 hours after ovulation. This means your fertile window includes the 5 days before ovulation and the day of ovulation itself. Pro tip: if you're trying to conceive, aim to have sex every other day during this window to maximize your chances. Fun fact: you might feel a slight twinge or pain on one side of your lower abdomen during ovulation. This is called Mittelschmerz or middle pain, and it's a sign your body is doing its job. After ovulation, we move into the luteal phase. This phase is all about waiting and preparing for a potential pregnancy. Here's what happens. The corpus luteum forms after the egg is released. The empty follicle transforms into a temporary gland called the corpus luteum. Progesterone takes over. The corpus luteum produces progesterone, a hormone that maintains the uterine lining and makes it even more receptive to a fertilized egg. Waiting for implantation: if the egg is fertilized, it will travel down the fallopian tube and implant into the uterine lining about 6 to 12 days after ovulation. If implantation occurs, the corpus luteum continues to produce progesterone to support the early pregnancy. If not, the corpus luteum breaks down, progesterone levels drop, and the cycle starts all over again with menstruation. The luteal phase is usually 12 to 14 days long and is relatively consistent from cycle to cycle. If it's shorter than 10 days, it could indicate a hormonal imbalance, so it's worth discussing with your doctor. Fun fact: progesterone is sometimes called the pregnancy hormone because it plays such a crucial role in maintaining a healthy pregnancy. Now that you understand the phases, how do you track them? Here are 3 proven methods. 1. Basal body temperature, BBT. Your temperature rises slightly after ovulation. Track it daily with a special thermometer. 2. Cervical mucus. Your discharge changes throughout your cycle. Around ovulation, it becomes clear and stretchy like egg whites. 3. Ovulation predictor kits, OPKs. These detect the LH surge, giving you a heads up before ovulation. Pro tip: use a fertility app to log your data. It's like having a personal fertility coach in your pocket. Let's tackle some common questions. How long is a normal cycle? Typically 28 days, but anywhere between 21 and 35 days is considered normal. Can I get pregnant during my period? It's rare, but possible, especially if you have a shorter cycle. What if my cycle is irregular? Irregular cycles can make tracking trickier, but don't worry, we'll cover tips for that too. Remember, everybody is unique. What's normal for someone else might not be normal for you, and that's okay. If your cycles are irregular, here's what you can do. Lifestyle changes, stress, diet, and sleep all impact your cycle. Prioritize self-care. See a specialist. A reproductive endocrinologist can help identify underlying issues like PCOS or thyroid disorders. Track consistently. Even irregular cycles have patterns. The more data you collect, the better. You're not alone in this. Many women face similar challenges, and there's always a way forward. Trying to conceive can be an emotional roller coaster. Some months feel hopeful, others heartbreaking. It's okay to feel frustrated, sad, or even angry. Surround yourself with a supportive community, whether it's friends, family, or online groups. And don't forget to celebrate the small wins along the way. You're stronger than you think. Ready to take action? Here are my top tips for boosting fertility. Eat a balanced diet. Focus on whole foods, healthy fats, and plenty of antioxidants. Exercise moderately. Too much or too little can impact your cycle. Aim for balance. Manage stress. Try yoga, meditation, or deep breathing exercises. Avoid toxins. Limit exposure to smoking, alcohol, and environmental toxins. Small changes can make a big difference. Start with one step today. If you've been trying for over a year or 6 months if you're over 35, it's time to see a doctor. Don't wait, early intervention can make all the difference. Remember, seeking help isn't a sign of failure. It's a step toward your dream of becoming a parent. Your menstrual cycle is a powerful tool on your journey to conception. By understanding it, tracking it, and taking care of your body, you're already taking huge steps toward your goal. Remember, you're not alone and you've got this. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up, share it with someone who might need it, and subscribe for more empowering health content. Let's build a community of support and knowledge together. Until next time, take care of yourself and your dreams.